Your family needs you, son.
On the next episode of Dutton Ranch.
Episode 8 of Dutton Ranch, titled Whiskey Limits, is not just another chapter in this story. This is the moment where everything starts to collapse. The power shifts, the loyalties crack, and the war between families turns deeply personal. The trailer gives us glimpses of chaos. Beulah Jackson fighting for her life, Rob Will stepping into control, and Rip Wheeler quietly putting together pieces of a puzzle that should not exist. But here's the part most people are missing. This episode is not just about survival, it's about betrayal, and by the end, someone's entire world may never recover. The story no longer feels like a slow-burning ranch drama. It feels like a ticking bomb. Everything begins with Beulah Jackson, the strongest figure in the Jackson family. The one person holding that entire empire together is now lying in a hospital bed, barely holding on to life. Her collapse is not just physical, it is symbolic. The moment she falls, the entire structure of power begins to crack. Because Beulah was never just a leader. She was control. She was balance. And without her, that balance disappears instantly. Now enters Rob Will Jackson. He finally gets what he wanted. Control of the 10-petal ranch. Authority, power, the title of leader. But there is a problem that the trailer quietly hints at. Control does not mean loyalty. And Rob Will is not the kind of man people trust. He forces obedience. He doesn't earn it. And on a ranch where survival depends on experience, trust, and unity, that kind of leadership is dangerous. One wrong decision, one reckless move, and everything could fall apart from the inside. At the same time, Joaquin stands in the shadows. The brother who should have been chosen, the one who understands the ranch, the one who has been pushed aside. And now he faces a choice that could change everything. Stay silent or fight back. But while the Jackson family begins to collapse internally, something even more dangerous is happening on the other side. Rip Wheeler is no longer reacting. He's thinking. After the recent attack on Rio Paloma, Rip doesn't just see violence. He sees patterns, details, mistakes that don't make sense. And slowly, piece by piece, he starts to realize something terrifying. This was not just an attack. This was planned from the inside. Someone who knows the ranch, someone who understands its weak points, someone who knew exactly when and where to strike, which means the enemy is not outside anymore. The enemy is already inside the gates. And the moment Rip fully confirms that truth, everything is going to explode. There is one detail in the trailer that most viewers completely overlook, but it changes how we see the entire episode. While Rip is focused on tracking the traitor, Beth Dutton is doing something very different. She is not looking at the attack itself. She is looking at the reason behind it. And that difference is everything. Because Beth understands one thing better than anyone. Violence is rarely the real story. Money is. The attack on Rio Paloma was not random. It was not just about revenge or territory. It had purpose. It had direction. And most importantly, it had someone who benefits from it. Beth begins to dig into the financial side. Land deals, ownership structures, power shifts. And what she is likely to find is something much bigger than a simple ranch war. This could mean that the Jackson family is not acting alone. It's possible that Rob Will is being supported, or even manipulated, by a larger force. Someone who wants both families weakened. Someone who wants control of everything once the dust settles. And suddenly, the story becomes much more dangerous. Because if there is a hidden player behind all of this, then the attack, the betrayal, even Beulah's collapse might all be connected in ways nobody realizes yet. At the same time, Carter's storyline quietly reflects this theme of hidden betrayal. He trusted Oriana. He believed in something real. But that trust was built on a lie. And now he is left broken, angry, and completely unstable. This matters more than it seems, because Carter represents the next generation. And if he breaks now, if he chooses the wrong path, he could become just as dangerous as the people he is surrounded by. So while the older generation fights for control, the younger generation is slowly falling apart, And that combination is exactly what turns conflict into chaos. Now here's where things get really interesting. If we connect all the pieces, Beulah's sudden collapse, Rob Will's rise to power, Rip discovering an inside traitor, and Beth uncovering deeper financial motives, a very dangerous theory begins to form. It's possible that Beulah's condition is not just a random medical emergency. The timing is too perfect. Right after she is forced into naming Rob Will as heir, she collapses. That raises a question the show has not answered yet. Was she pushed too far? Or was something else involved? This could mean that someone wanted her out of the way, not necessarily killed, but removed from power long enough for control to shift. And if that's true, then Rob Will's position becomes even more suspicious. Now let's go further. The traitor inside Rio Paloma, who could it be? It's possible that this person is not acting alone. They might be connected to the same larger force Beth is investigating, someone feeding information from the inside while chaos builds on the outside. And here's the most dangerous possibility. What if the traitor is someone close, someone trusted by both Beth and Rip? Because that would explain how the attackers knew so much. And if that reveal happens in episode 8, it could completely break Rip in a way we have never seen before. Finally, Carter. It's possible that his emotional breakdown pushes him toward a critical mistake, not intentional betrayal, but a decision driven by pain that leads to serious consequences. And in a story like this, one mistake is enough to start a chain reaction. Episode 8 is clearly setting up something massive for the finale. The title, Whiskey, limits itself feels like a warning, a breaking point, a moment where every character reaches their edge. Rob Will likely make a decision that pushes his own people away, weakening the Jackson family even further. Joaquin may finally step forward, turning internal tension into open conflict. Rip will get closer to the truth, and once he identifies the traitor, there will be no hesitation, no forgiveness. Beth will uncover something bigger than expected, possibly revealing that this war is not just between two families, but part of a much larger game. And Carter may reach a point where he either becomes stronger or completely loses himself. By the end of this episode, at least one major relationship will be shattered. One major truth will come out, and one decision will set the stage for a finale that could change everything. Because this is no longer about land, it's about survival. And not everyone is going to make it out of this story intact. Everything is falling apart at the same time. A dying leader, a rising tyrant, a hidden traitor, and a truth waiting to explode. But the real question is, who breaks first? Do you think Beulah's collapse was truly natural? Or is there something darker behind it? And who do you believe is the traitor inside Rio Paloma? Drop your theories below, because episode 8 might just prove all of us wrong.